Okay. I can't hear Barb,
Can anybody hear me? Anyone?
but I can see her. Can you guys hear Barb? I just called for reinforcements, meaning Jaden. Jaden's gonna come down. Okay, Barb, say something.
Hello, everyone.
You can hear Barb. I can't. Maybe if I don't have earbuds down here too. It's like maybe if I turned her on my phone, I would be able to hear. But
Yeah,
um,
it might be an interesting conversation if she can't hear me.
I don't know. I can't tell what she's saying. But we're gonna have Jaden come down, and he's gonna see if he can help me with these. I did. I forgot how to use the YouTube, the StreamYard.
Oh, well.
Dang it. So, Barb, um, well, she's gonna talk for a few minutes. I mean, I can do a little bit of talking, but I can't hear Barb. So hopefully Jaden will be down here and we'll be able to get this figured out. But we just wanted to talk about Cabbage Patches today because we love them. As you can see, we have a few.
Right.
We have a few, and they're getting harder to find. So Barb, while I'm going to mute myself here in a minute because Jaden's coming in. Why don't you tell everybody what you like, your history with Cabbage Patch dolls? Like,
Okay.
how did you first get introduced to them? I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say I got my first Cabbage Patch when I was about probably 5. I was born in 1981, and I don't think my parents got any the year they got really popular in 83. So I think it was probably around 1985 that I got my first one, but I always loved them. I think I have approximately maybe 8 to 10 from when I was younger. And then all of a sudden I just started kind of, getting into them a little bit. And then I got a little bit more into them, and then Misty was getting into them, and then it just snowballed. You know how that goes. So, yeah, but I would say that my favorite are the Cabbage Patch Babies, which are, let's see here. This is what one of my favorite ones was a baby like this. And then I also really like the regular full-size kids, like all these guys back here. So yeah, it's just a love that came back from childhood, I guess, and kind of getting into all the 1980s stuff that I used to have and all that. So yeah, but let's see. I don't know which one I'm trying to think if there was a specific one that got me back into the collecting. I don't think there was. Oh, actually there is, but it's way up high on the top. It's way up on the top. I found her at a yard sale, a new in the box Cabbage Patch, and that was like 3 years ago, and that's when I kind of started thinking about collecting them again. So yeah. I know. I love hearing this. I don't know, Desert Gal, I don't know if you mean that you searched like right in when they first were popular, but I love, watching like videos from the stores. Like that would have been so crazy. I don't know if I'd go so far to say that would be so cool if I could have, been there for that, but because that was a lot to deal with, and then your kid would be disappointed if you don't get one. So but still, I think it would have been neat to see. So so does anybody have if anybody has any, we haven't even gotten onto a subject or anything yet, but does anybody have any specific questions or anything like that? We could see. The first thing I want to say is that I'm definitely not an expert, but I have done, a good amount of research in the last few months. So, oh, I thought she was talking to me. So a couple good sources, I'll start with that to look at if you want to learn more, that I have looked at a lot. One is called Hillary's CPK Clothes Closet. And she has a lot of information about clothes, but there's other information as well. And then probably the biggest resource would be that I have found was Fundamentals of Cabbage Patch Kids. If you Google that, a woman by the name of Jamie Mullen wrote a whole thing. It might actually have been published. I'm not sure, but there's a whole slew of information online if you go to that. So that's a really good resource. Do I still have the original Cabbage Patch? So my first one was a fake Cabbage Patch, and I'm pretty sure that it's still at my parents' house. And then my first one of the babies like this, I made maybe the mistake of bringing that home a few years ago from my parents' house so that my girls could play with it. And I don't currently know where it is. So I'm hoping that it didn't get, cleaned out one time when they cleaned their room, but still looking for that one. Hoping. Let's see. Diane, how do you clean your dolls? Well, that's a very good question. So it depends, obviously, the level of, what's going on with it. If you need to wash the body, I've had a really good success with that. If there's a bad stain, I just spray a little stain remover on it first, and then, wash it in the sink with either a little laundry detergent and then, wash it in the, do you hear me?
Are you hearing?
I hear myself for a second. Now I don't.
Okay.
Do you hear me? I hear that.
Well,
I hear myself for a second.
Yeah, you are. Jaden went to go get me. Jaden went to go get me. We're going to try some headphones. He seems to think that maybe my speakers are shot in my computer. So what I might do too is try to use my iPad, and maybe that will work. But he's gonna bring me his headphones. I really don't want to use my iPad because I really don't. It's not gonna. I don't know, because I'm used to doing it on my computer.
Right.
But he's gonna bring me some headphones. But we're gonna try this. You can find me. You can hear me, Jean. Okay, what have I missed?
I was just talking about, when I was younger and what dolls I had, and then I was just answering questions about cleaning dolls and such. So.
I need tips about Barb. I need tips about cleaning the dolls.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I need tips.
Well, maybe we'll wait till we get it fixed.
Barb, I need tips about cleaning the dolls. Oh no, we're not open. Sorry.
How many do I own? It's approximately 50. Approximately 50, I think. Because I do have some that are going to be for sale or donation. Sometimes I find them and, they have a really nice outfit, but maybe they're in, some are in shape that is kind of beyond what I can do, where they have what's called pocks, where they get these spots on them that they're rubber. Something about the baby powder they put in them, and it did something with the vinyl on their face, on their head, and then it caused certain ones to get these spots that are kind of unsightly in many cases. And I have not tried to remedy it. Some people do. You can do things like put acne cream on the spots and then leave them out in the sun, but it's a long process. So anyway, the ones that I'm currently, keeping in my collection is approximately 50. So yeah. Let's see, what did I miss? Oh, you worked at Kmart. Okay.
Now I'm not muted.
Well, no, I mean, like you're not.
Nope. He's gone again. Let's see. So yeah, I think that it would be awesome if here's another thing I've been thinking about recently. I hope that they will come out with, let's see. So when would I think the next big anniversary, would it be, is it 40 or would that have already happened? Let's see. Math. Well, regardless, when they get to 50 years, I would love it if they would come out with something that would be really similar to the old ones. I know it might be, maybe it wouldn't be possible to have any exactly like them, but wouldn't that be amazing? I would love that so much if they did. Which collection is bigger? Oh, that's funny. That it's actually pretty even because, it was very easy to accumulate this many Cabbage Patch dolls in a short amount of time, since they're not, there's a lot more of them and they're a lot easier to find at a good price. So, but I am going to have to, I don't know. I've been trying to decide. I'm going to have to probably rein in the Cabbage Patch thing. And Russian Santas really, they've been reined in because they're harder to find, anymore for a good price. So yeah, we only have so much room, unfortunately, but eventually I would like to have a toy room that's going to be, oh, is she back? No. Eventually I'd like to have a toy room that's going to be like 1980s decorated. So the Cabbage Patches can be in there and all kinds of other fun toys, and then have, beds for like future grandkids to stay in that room. That would be fun. And then I would like to have a Christmas room so that I could leave Christmas decorations out. I feel like we'll have to see what happens. we have a couple more kids, I've only got one that technically moved out, but not really, because he's going to college about an hour away, but he still comes home all the time and has his room. So yeah. What are some that I'm looking for to find? So I'm really into the foreign ones, made in like Spain. So they're called Jesmar. Those are my favorite ones to find, but I don't think I've ever found one like out in the wild in person. I think I've found them mostly on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. If you don't know how to identify them, then sometimes people don't realize that they're more valuable than, a regular one. So if we get this going, I'll try to show you how to identify. Well, yeah, I guess I could go ahead and show. So let's see. This is a new one, a pretty new one to me. This is a Jesmar made in Spain. So one way that you could kind of identify it quickly, if you're looking and you get used to how they look, is see her freckles. So her freckles are fairly large, and now they can be in different amounts of freckles and patterns. So, it's all kind of confusing. But what you'd want to do is on the back of the head here, there are words. And if you see Calico or Caleco, however you pronounce it, that is the regular made in the USA ones. But if you see, I don't know if we'll get this to show up, but there are words there. And if you see Jesmar, Jesmar, then you know that it's a made in Spain. So that's one way to tell. Let's see. So this was a bad choice of one. I'll have to take her little overalls partly off, but the signature on their bottoms. So this, you can't tell that it's a Jesmar just by this, but just an example of a signature. So this one was made in 1984 and signed Xavier Roberts, just like the regular Calico ones from the United States. And then, yeah, it's one of those things that when you start looking around at them more, you can kind of pick them out. But at first, let's see if I have let me see here if I have a red-haired girl. So for example, if you haven't been studying them, like these guys don't look that different, you know? So it's a process of learning how to, this is a regular Calico one from the US, and then this is the Spain one. But it's confusing, you know, because these can have freckles.
All right, I'm going to try to do this on my iPad because nothing is working. So sorry. All right.
It's okay. Okay, so anyway, these can have freckles also, so that does get confusing. Let's see. What was the word on the Spanish ones? The word on the Spanish ones is Jesmar. So Jesmar, Jesmar. But there are other foreign factories that you can collect also if you want to. There was Jesmar made in Spain. There was one called Sakuda made in Japan. There was Lily Letty made in Mexico, which I do not have any of. Those are hard to find. And and then the third one was made in South Africa called Tri-Ang Pedigree. So very interesting. I do have a couple of those. The Cabbage Patches are going to be all over the place by the time we're done with this. We'll put you back. Let's see. So, we had a runner. So this one is hello. You are a Tri-Ang Pedigree. So the interesting thing about these, and a way to identify them sometimes, is that their eye paint in many cases did not hold up well. Let's see if we can see. She's not super bad, but their eyes are cloudy a lot of times. And that happened apparently because they used some type of paint at that factory that didn't dry correctly. So I guess in theory, if you have one in the box, supposedly the paint is kind of still wet. I don't know. I thought I saw somebody say that, but anyway, so this is a girl from South Africa, but you know, does she look that much different either? No, it's just, you just have to get used to, and you know, in general, unless you want to get into collecting, then you're probably not going to notice it. But I didn't even show you on the Jesmar girls. That was silly. So obviously another way besides the head, the stamp on, excuse me, the stamp, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. The tag, sorry, dust, stirring up dust. The tag is probably the easiest way. So this one here is marked and it says Tri-Ang Pedigree on it. So that would be, your best way to check. See if I can get that to show up. So, but sometimes kids cut off the tags and stuff. So then that stamp on the back of the head is, a really good way. So let's see here. Twins. I just got two sets of twins in the last couple weeks. I don't know. One of them I did find at a thrift store. So the word on the South African ones, yes, Tri-Ang Pedigree. That's right. So, and then I will show you my made in Japan one. If I can look. Oh, there she is. Here we go. So this one here is made in Japan, and the word is a little tricky to spell. I believe you pronounce it Sakuda, but it's Tsukuda. I think. We'll look at her tag. So one way that they say that you can identify these made in Japan is that the eyes have a paint that's looks like a butterfly. Now, I don't personally think that it's that easy to look at one and tell that, but we'll hold her up close. So it does, it reminds me of a butterfly. However, other Cabbage Patch dolls that I have look similar to me, but but she has her
Arrow by your mic.
Can you hear me?
I can hear.
No, I know. No, but
What?
you mute for a second.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a look at her tag. So on one side, you have all the Japanese writing. And then on the other side, it will say, let's see if I get it up there. It will say Sakuda on it. So yeah, the tags are definitely a good way to tell. But yeah. And then
Good grief. This is not how I imagine any of this going. Let me go lock the door real quick.
She did it. As long as you guys can still hear Misty. But I wasn't going to jump right into all of the foreign ones, but we got off the cuff. So that's okay.
I've got this. You didn't think that I was going to make you do this all by yourself, did you?
Yep.
She was like, I'm not coming back on here again. Oh, good grief. Well, I got all my old fashioned. I look like I'm working. I look like Val when I talk to Val in the morning. She's got these on her ears.
Oh.
So what all have I missed? You're talking. Okay, you were talking about which one are you talking about? Like which country?
So we kind of I wasn't going to jump in with this, but we kind of just jumped into the different foreign factories, and I was just showing them an example of the ones that I have. So yeah, they're fun to collect, but obviously more expensive. So
they are. I only have one, and I looked into the one that I had. What did I do? He's back here. Well, here. Gosh, I know. I'm connected by a cord.
I've been pulling them off the shelf. Pretty soon there's going to be nothing behind me because I'm just piling them on the ground.
Yeah, hang on. These things. Good grief. I'm used to the ones that like go in your ears. These like sit on top of your ears. I don't like those.
Yeah.
I think I have them on the wrong way. We're just gonna this is just our Misty's a hot mess express today. So the one that I have, he's still dirty. I haven't given him a bath yet. I looked upon him. Sorry, I just muted myself.
Oh.
Mine on the back, it says he's made in Spain.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have his twin.
But you really can't tell the difference if you're just, if you know what you look for, if you know what to look for, then you can tell a subtle difference in their little faces.
Right.
But like whenever, they look twins, Barb.
Twinsies.
See, now I can't hear you.
What?
I can't hear you now. Hang on.
Oh, no. Can everybody else still hear me?
What is going on?
StreamYard is conspiring against us.
Hang on, let me unplug and me plug back in. This is bananas.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. They all can hear you, but they can't hear me. Oh, well, wait, they can hear me. I can't hear Barb.
Well, we'll just have to take turns.
Everything I touch today is breaking.
Yeah, gremlins.
All right. I'll be back. I'm going to get on my iPad. This is ridiculous. I'll be back. Keep talking, Barb. I'll be right back.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm not sure where I think we identified those 3 foreign factories. Like I had mentioned, the fourth one is Lily Ledy, Lilli, I think Ledy. Those were made in Mexico, and from what I know about them, I don't know if it's that easy to distinguish them just by, like, if you just saw one, sitting in the antique mall or whatever. I think that for those, you may, unless you're really, really have a good eye for, the collecting and everything, you may have to check the tag in order to find out if it was one of those. So, and I should have mentioned first. So the reason that the foreign factory Cabbage Patches are harder to find is because they were only made in 1984 and 1985, from what I know. So that, and, you know, but something interesting is that when the foreign factories closed in 1985, they shipped the remaining dolls and parts and clothes and all that to the US. So you may have gone to Toys R Us and you may have bought a Jesmar Spain Cabbage Patch, you know, at Toys R Us. So, you know, one interesting thing about that is that another way, one of my first Jesmars, let's see, where'd she go? One of my first Jesmars that I found online was this girl. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
But I got to find my hole's all the way down there. No, I got to turn it this way. See, my hole's on the side.
Oh, so I found this girl online, and she was in like a Coleco box, but then on the bottom it had a sticker that said something about, you know, for Spain or whatever. So there's all different ways that, and then you can also find a doll that may have like a Jesmar Spain head on a Coleco body. Like there was all kind of things that happened.
Did we talk about what is Jesmar? Is it the company?
It was, so they were the company in Spain, and then there was the one in Japan called Sakuda.
Yeah.
And then the Lily Letty in Mexico, and the Triang Pedigree in South Africa. But yeah.
So were they creating these versions during like the craze, or was this, do you know, was this like after the 1983, 83,
Yeah.
84?
They did it because of the craze, and it was 1984 and 1985 that they did it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about.
Yes, your turn.
Yeah, my turn. Well, I'm fascinated about the foreign ones. So there's Spain, Japan, Mexico,
and South Africa.
Now, we talked a little bit, I probably missed some of this, but one of the things, like whenever I see one with these big pronounced freckles, that's like my brain tells me, look at the back of the head. Look at the back of the head. Do they all have freckles?
No, but supposedly more of the Jesmars, more of them had freckles than didn't, supposedly, from what I've read.
Okay. And like, how much would one of these the Spain ones, how much would one of these be worth, you think? And because he still even has his like wires that attached him to his box. I don't know. I need to look. I have a couple empty boxes, and I don't know if I have one of his boxes. Will the box say something different? Will it be in a different language?
Yeah, that can be tricky because, you know, sometimes they got put in different boxes. But yes, if it was an actual box, you know, a Jesmar box, then some of the words would be in Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
But
how much would one of these guys be? How much are they? What's their value for one of these?
Well, what I've been finding is that it really can depend a lot on, of course, the condition is important, but, and whether or not, you know, the box sometimes is, you know, upping the value. If it's sealed in the box or something, that would be, you know, but if it's a bad condition box, I don't think it really adds that much to the value. But the outfit that they're wearing can be a real big factor. And of course, like, you know, if they had a more like a rare eye and hair combination color or something. But I would say that, you know, that guy, if he cleans up, you know, fine, that from what I've been seeing lately, I would say between maybe 90 and 125, something like that.
He's not going anywhere. I'm not selling him, but it does make you, you know, when you're collecting things anyway, and when you have many, it does make it exciting when you are like, when you find one and you look at the back of the head and you see that it's
right.
You know, because it's just like, it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack.
Uh-huh. And it can be fun on, like, it's hard to just randomly find, the Jessmar in the wild. But you can kind of search for them online too, because this guy, I found him on, I think it was Poshmark, and he was not identified as a Jessmar. He doesn't have freckles, but I had a pretty good feeling because of the outfit. And so I got him for a good price because of that. But it was a gamble because they didn't take a picture of his tag. So, but
right. So you didn't, yeah. See, I need to clean him up. Yeah. Because if you're comparing, okay, so this is my Marshall Gilbert. So he was my childhood Cabbage Patch. And so he has on a very similar little outfit than as the my Spanish guy. But you can tell the difference. Marshall Gilbert, his denim is more like denim. It's more like actual denim, and his is not. And you can kind of tell too by a lot of times you're not going to have these to compare side by side, but when you're looking at the patches, you can see this one's a little bit bigger, and the quality of this one is better than this one.
Yeah, it's funny that many of the Jessmar Spain outfits are they're maybe not even made as well,
Yeah, but they're worth more money because they're not as easy to find.
And some of the outfits have, not every single one would, but if you find an outfit that has a Jessmar tag in it, I'm trying to see if I could find the one. Yeah, it's just a little tag that it says Jessmar in red. So that outfit would be more, valuable and desirable.
I haven't even really looked at him.
I mean, he should have a tag. I don't know where this one's tag is at. Oh,
well, wait. This one says Original Appalachian Artworks Incorporated. This is manufactured by Calico, made in Spain.
Yeah. So this tag is different. That's what I was just noticing on mine, but it does say Spain on it. So as long as it says Spain anywhere, then yeah.
Well, Marshall Gilbert, like I said, he was my very first Cabbage Patch was Josie Joanna, and I don't know what happened to her. For some reason, I got Marshall Gilbert is the one that my mom was a doll collector growing up, so I was exposed to a lot of dolls, and like she and her friend made it a point, like when all the craze started, like they were gonna get us and my mom's daughter, they were gonna get one. My mom would go to doll shows, and so I had like 9 Cabbage Patch dolls growing up. So yeah, I was a little spoiled, but my mom, it was her thing. And like if you have a parent that likes a certain toy or something, they're going to be more apt to, collect those with you. But the early stages of Cabbage Patches, and something that I wanted to talk about a little bit. I got my computer here so I can bring up some things, but it's a little bit of a deep dive, a little bit of a story. Now, a lot of you know about Xavier Roberts, and Xavier Roberts is the daddy of all these babies. He's the father, which is kind of a weird thing. Now, Xavier Roberts was a character anyway, and a lot of people, he has a little bit of talk that he actually stole the idea off of Martha Nelson Thomas, but that isn't necessarily, I mean, it just depends on who you ask when it comes to that, because a lot of people claim that that wasn't necessarily the case. So what happened in the 1970s, late 1970s, I got some notes popped up here. Now I can't find them with this whole
well, you had a lot going on.
Whole computer business. Okay. So back in the 70s, Xavier Roberts was he was an artist and in Appalachian in Georgia, and he came to a lot of like these doll crafting events and stuff, and he learned how to do I think it's called molding when you make a doll out of soft materials and, you make them look like, well, let me pull one up so you guys can see what the first ones looked like. There we are. So you can see that is the originator, Martha Thomas, and or Martha. I think it's Martha Nelson Thomas. That's her, and she went to all these doll shows, and she was very much not a hobby. It turned into a business, but she wasn't mass producing them, and every single doll was different. So you can see they look a little weird, right? They look a little weird. I'm not a huge fan of the earlier dolls myself.
Yeah, I don't have one. Not yet. I will get one at some point if I get one, for a decent price. But
Well,
I feel like that's a whole nother rabbit hole I shouldn't go down.
It definitely is a whole other rabbit hole. I actually bought one. I actually bought this from Val. She brought it to a vamp sale, and I was like, well, I'm gonna look into it. So she is not an original. There are Facebook groups, so if you are interested in Cabbage Patches, I do highly recommend that you join some of these Facebook groups. You'll learn a lot, and there's a lot of people they're buying and selling and that kind of stuff on there too. But some of the Facebook groups are purely, discussions or helping you identify, because there were a lot of mommy made dolls, which I'm going to get to that topic here in a minute. But I have her. She's a homemade doll. She's not a original Martha doll, or she's not original Little People doll, because that's what they were originally called, a Little People doll. She's got hand painted face and a soft body all over. Now we're used to the Cabbage Patches, like we were talking about, with the hard faces, soft bodies, hard plastic faces. That came later. They originated like this. Now I got this one from Val because it's signed by Xavier Roberts. So I thought, now the first ones are hand signed by Xavier Roberts. He had other people that were making them too, but he wanted to make it bigger. He wanted to branch out, and he had this idea. Yes, Martha Nelson, she came up with the form of the doll, but he kind of came up with expanding that. So there's like controversy. People are like, well, he stole her idea. And to an extent, he kind of did, because he did learn how to make them from her and was friends and hung out with her. And then he decided that he wanted to make it bigger. She did not want to mass produce them. She did not want to, she didn't agree with all the things that he wanted to do as far as marketing them. And so they split ways. Now, the original ones that Martha Nelson would sell, she would include, is this the, no, that's not it. Golly gee, where is that picture?
That was the original one that I got, was a Martha Nelson one. That was my.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I bet you wish you still had that now, huh?
I have it.
Do you have
here.
it? Well, somewhere I have a picture of, maybe it didn't come through all the way, but what Martha Nelson would do is she would, we're familiar with the birth certificates and all of that. And that was an Xavier Roberts thing. The ones that Martha would make, they would have little hand tags that would just be like, my name is Polly or whatever. So they would have a name, but not, I don't know if they had a birth date or not, but it wasn't like to the extreme that Xavier Roberts went with. He was really a marketing genius. I mean, honestly, he really kind of was. In my notes. Oh wait, very first dolls were sold at art fairs, and so it was a very much in Appalachian culture. These doll shows and art fairs, and that's where they were sold. And then Xavier Roberts was like, "Hey, I got a better idea." And then he went with this whole story. Now, according to the research that I have done, the lore behind it came from a vision that Xavier Roberts had when he was a child, and he was in a garden, and a little bunny, a hybrid bunny bee, came to him, and he had this vision. I do have a picture of this hybrid. They do sell these, and they still do with this imagery. They still do a lot of imagery with this. Where did he go? I'm all kinds of discombobulated. Is that him? There he is. So this is like the origin story, and it actually says this on, if you go to Babyland General's website. I'm going to read this part to you just because it's really kind of, well, it's interesting. The legend. So it says, I'll just read it. Once upon a time, a young boy named Xavier Roberts was playing in the woods near his home in the Appalachian Mountains of North Georgia. He was playing and daydreaming when suddenly a curious creature buzzed by his head. It looked like a bunny, but it flew in the air and buzzed like a bee. Xavier decided to try to catch this little flying puffball, so he started following it through the woods, over the streams, and up and down the hills they went. But just as he was about to capture the bunny bee, it flew straight into a waterfall and disappeared, and he was sure that the bunny bee had drowned. But no! The bunny bee flew straight back out of the water and took a spin around Xavier's head, teasing him to follow. And then he went and he followed the bunny bee, went behind a waterfall, and he had this vision of creating these dollies. And that's what he did. I actually have this magazine.
Oh, neat.
It's the Little People Pals. So again, that's Xavier Roberts, which I'm going to show you another picture of him here in just a minute. He was, I don't want to say flamboyant. You know, he had a nice, well, he made a lot of money. Let's just say that. He made a lot of money. So this book here is from 1982. So this was before like the craze. This was like in, because what Xavier Roberts did is he found like a dilapidated like medical building, and he had this idea, and he was like, you know what? We're going to create these dolls, and we're going to give them a story. And everyone's going to they're going to adopt them, which is a marketing thing. I mean, think about like when Beanie Babies, and I mean, the Cabbage Patch craze was the beginning of the Tickle Me Elmo. Remember when Tickle Me Elmo was crazy? And then the Beanie Babies, and now we've had the Labubu's, and now we've got the Neatos. I mean, and all of these things that are kind of everyone has to have, they need to have them. He had the idea to, you know what, we're going to create this whole story. And these little babies they came out of the Cabbage Patch. And he started this, having this idea in 1978 is when he got this old medical building and created it into Babyland General. This was one of the first this was the first location. And eventually it moved to Cleveland, Georgia, which is where it still is today. And let me tell you, if you go there, it looks just like it did back in the 80s when it was originated. It is, I mean, I was kind of like, I did a video of my visit to Babyland General. I adopted my little doll from Babyland General. So they don't look like they used to. They've changed the way that they look, you know, but they still smell like baby powder. So I adopted her. And you can go visit the mother tree. I might have a picture of that. I was trying to like put these pictures in to show you, and now I just can't tell where they're at. Well, we're going to start here in 1976. Xavier rediscovers needle molding. It's a German technique for fabric and sculpture from the early 1800s, and he combined that with his interest in sculpture with the quilting skills passed down from his mother. He creates his first soft sculpture, which is this gal right here. That's his first soft sculpture. And then in 78, he creates a doll named Dexter. And Dexter wins first prize in the Osceolas Art Show. And he begins delivering his handmade Little People originals and exhibiting them at art shows and all that, like we already talked about. And he would sell them to you for $40. Plus, that was the adoption fee, which $40 back in 1978 for a doll was pretty expensive. That was not, I mean, it's really kind of expensive even today, in today's standards. But back then, that was a lot of money. But it was an art piece. It's like when you go to an art fair, you're going to pay a little bit more for these creations because they're all made by hand. And so that was in Kissimmee, Florida. And then he returns, and then he renovates the L.G. Neal Clinic, turn of the century medical facility in Cleveland, Georgia, and he opens up Babyland General to the public. And then 1983, the Cabbage Patch Toys go on record as the most successful new doll introduction in the history of the toy industry. Oh, wait, I forgot. We skipped a year. 1981. So there were reports earlier that readopting for much 100 times for the initial adoption fee back in 1981. And I think that is about the time when Coleco was like, hey, we want to jump in on this. And so he was able to work out a deal with Coleco. And Coleco went out of business in the 80s, and then they were bought out by Mattel, maybe Kenner.
I think the first one was Hasbro, I think.
Hasbro.
Yeah.
And then Mattel, I think, bought out after Coleco went out of business. I remember Coleco. Coleco did the I had a Coleco Vision. Did anybody else have the Coleco Vision, which was like the Atari, but it was made by Coleco?
Oh.
And now if you find vintage toys with that Coleco, that's like a nostalgic thing. When you see that Coleco branding, I don't want to pull one of those down. It's a very nostalgic look for me. Okay, in the comments, has anybody else been to Babyland General? Okay, this is Babyland General. It looks the same.
No, I've not been, unfortunately.
You can still, here's the thing. You go one time and you're good.
Yeah.
Well,
I did see your video, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going in person is one thing. I mean, you really should, especially if you like Cabbage Patches. But like, I went down to visit my friend Emmeline, and she lives in Georgia. And hi, Rachel. But Emmeline was like, I was like, oh, you can go with me to the Cabbage Patch Babyland General. And she's been before. And she was like, well, I'll go with you, but she didn't really want to. You go one time and that's good. Now these pictures are this is in 1982. So this is prior to them making the soft or the hard sculpted heads. Yeah, this magazine though, if you're able to get one of these magazines, it is pretty interesting because he talks about the different parts of Babyland General. There was the success of Babyland General and the Little People concept is due largely to the confidence of Dr. Roberts. He ain't a doctor, for one. Who never stopped believing that his fantasy hospital would become a nationally known site of interests. It's pretty interesting. And then it gives the history of Xavier, but I wanted to show you. So this is Xavier Roberts in front of his home. This is him sitting in front of his jacuzzi. And you know that he's the daddy of all of these babies, all of the Cabbage Patches in the world. His name is on all of their birth certificates, all of them. But I'm going to share with you this picture because this is just the best. I mean, what do you think?
Nice.
I mean, is this, Barb, do we take baths with our babies?
I don't know.
I mean, if I had as much money as Xavier Roberts, maybe I would get into the bath with my babies. Yeah, I don't know. Ronnie, I want to do a deep dive on Xavier because it's like, I don't know any about his personal life.
That
but
would be
I kind of want to know. It's none of our business, but I kind of want to know now. So anyway, when you go to Babyland General, you can adopt a baby. Now you can adopt the original Little People dolls. And they're very, very expensive, but they are all still handmade. Every single one of them, not two of them are alike. They're all still handmade. This girl, I don't think that she's handmade there. Even her body, I'm going to go out on a limb. She is Babyland. Wait a minute. Babyland exclusive. Well, she's made in Vietnam. So no, she is not handmade at Babyland General in Georgia. But you can buy the Little People dolls. And I want to say they're like $200. I did pay, I think, $75 for her.
I was saying at the beginning when you were gone that I don't know when, I'm trying to think, it's easy math, but whenever like the 50th anniversary is, I wish they would find a way to make them some that look just like the originals. Like they would sell those. I feel like they would sell those really well.
I know, because they don't, even the newer ones, like this one, he's from the 90s. And I just opened him up. Angie gave him to me, but I think that he's so incredibly cute. But they have a different look in the face than the original ones. I don't know. There's just something, they're definitely something different. Yes, Rachel, this is my Marshall Gilbert. Barb, did you ever get yours back from your parents?
So most of them are at my parents' house. I don't know why I haven't brought them home, but I was telling them at the beginning, there's one that was my favorite. So I brought it home a few years ago for the girls to play with. Well, now we don't know where it is. So it might be gone, but I know exactly which, like head. I should talk about the head molds, but I could rebuy it. I'd probably have to get the outfit and then put it on, get the doll, but it might be here still. We'll see.
Let me, Martha Nelson Thomas. Let me see, because I found a really good article about the wait, is it this one? Yes. Okay. No, it's not. I found a really good article about Martha Thomas Nelson. Mm-hmm. But okay, so Barb, you should try to get those. You really should.
My parents' house is 1 minute away. It's just they basically have like my old room just still set up, and so it's like I don't want to see that. I don't know if they like. It's they've put a desk in there with a computer, that kind of stuff. But there's like a lot of toys are still just sitting there, and I'm like, maybe they like seeing them there. So I haven't really. I've brought a couple home, but
you should. Hi, Miss Pamela. No, you totally should, because I think that I would. My gosh, Barb, what? How many of us in the chat would give their right arm to be able to walk into their childhood bedroom? I'm sure it's changed since when you were like a little girl, but man, I would.
Oh yeah, if it was like if they had never moved anything, like, and all the 80s toys were still on the shelf. It's like more. I would say more of my stuff from like when I was a tween or a teen is probably what's in there,
But that stuff's probably worth a lot of money. You should go in there and see what's in there. If you don't care about it, you should probably say, yeah, I agree. Ronnie said, I forgot I can highlight comments. Ronnie said, field trip to Barb's house.
Yeah, my parents still have they do not redecorate. They have the shag carpeting. So like my room had the green, my brother's had the orange and pink or something. Theirs had blue. It's all there. They've changed the bathroom. That's about it.
I want to go whenever I come and visit you, which I would like to. I want to go to your parents' house. Okay. We can go in your room and play.
Yeah.
Play with our dolls. One thing that I wanted to say is that Martha Thomas Nelson, she did sue Xavier. She tried to sue him for $1 million. They settled, which tells me Xavier was like, this was after the Xavier was making millions off selling these dolls in the early 80s. So in my opinion, I think that he kind of knew, like, I better settle with her, because I mean, he did kind of take her idea. But what she did, they settled for an undisclosed amount. So she made some money off of the lawsuit after they settled. But what she did, she started working with these doll babies. She started making these doll baby kits. And a lot of you probably had, if you had a mommy made doll, a lot of you probably had these doll baby sewing kits. And a lot of the ones that we see that were like, are you real? Because, the self-sculpted ones are harder to tell if they're a legitly made doll. I mean, some of them aren't. Some of them it's obvious. Depends on how good the seamstress was. But I just so happened to have.
That's what my first one was. Is one of those like purchased from a craft fair. It was just like that.
Yeah. Well, I've got some heads. These were the Martha. I'm never gonna say her name. Martha Thomas Nelson. I'm constantly screwing up her name. Martha Thomas Nelson. So you can kind of see. Well, I don't want to compare her. Okay, this girl is dirty. A lot of mine are dirty. They need to go visit Barb to get a bath. But, and she's got a tooth. But, I mean, you can really kind of see they're very similar.
Yeah.
So even when Martha started to do her own doll line like this, she was kind of taking some of the ideas from the Coleco dolls, the plastic form. So really, they both copied off of one another. If we want to be completely honest, I mean, they really both did. Yeah, I have more than one head, Ronnie. I got some boy heads too. But to me, these are part of the Cabbage Patch story. But yeah, the nose looks like an upside down snail. There.
Yeah.
I love the way that these empty heads smell.
I've never smelled one.
You need to smell one, Barb. They smell like plastic. This says 1984. So see, she was, and a lot of times they're hard to find. If you let us know in the comments, were you one of the moms or the grandmas or the auntie or the uncles that were in the stores fighting the people? There were riots. Like, I want to say that there were some people that actually got killed.
Was there?
I want to say that there might have been.
Oh, I was saying at the beginning that I kind of wish that I could be there for that, but then at the same time not. So it would have been a lot.
It really would have been a lot. It would have been a lot. And to me, she started doing these at the time when all the craze was happening. So a lot of little girls, that's all they wanted for Christmas was a Cabbage Patch doll. They asked Santa for a Cabbage Patch doll. Well, their parents couldn't get them, or they couldn't afford a Cabbage Patch doll. So the alternative, Martha actually had a really good idea. And some of the kids probably, like, when you see this is even signed on the back, 1984 Thomas, for Martha Thomas Nelson. So when you got your mommy made cabbage, did your mom make it?
No, I'm pretty sure that they probably bought it at a craft fair.
Okay. Did you know when you opened it, were you like, thanks?
No, because I was only probably, 4 or 5 when that,
okay.
I was born in 81. And so, yeah, I think I was about 4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay, so Ronnie says there was no deaths but injuries. I want to say that in was it Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania was the one that I read where there was like a riot. Like people were probably arrested. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
What people won't do for their kids, you know? It kind of reminds me, remember that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was trying to find that like space toy? And what was that movie called? And Sinbad was in it, and they were all fighting over this doll, Turbo Man or something like that. So I don't know. I can't sew worth a lick. But I also have one of these dolls, and I don't really know any history. She is so fake. She's so fake.
I don't know the history of like that type of fake doll. I don't really know anything about those.
Well, and she came with this. But you know, sometimes the dupes of toys, like especially toys in the 80s, I know that He-Man and Mad Balls, and there were companies that were importing, so they were making dupes. And sometimes the dupes can be just like we talked about with the Jessmar dolls can be just as valuable. This is Patch Kids Association official adoption papers. This is a Patch Kid. Jingle all the way. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
So this says, well, okay, when you go to Babyland General and you adopt your own doll, because I had to go through the whole process. I wanted to go through the whole process. You know, you have to like raise your hand and like go up here before the judge, not the judge, the nurse, and say your pledge. I got this birth certificate from Babyland General. That's little Darlene Lind. I named her after Emmeline Darlene. This one says, in front of another person, raise your right hand and say, I promise to love my Patch Kid with all my heart. I promise to be a good and kind parent. I will always remember how special my Patch Kid is to me.
Oh.
Yeah, but this one doesn't. You get to pick your own birth date and stuff. And if you notice, when you look at the Cabbage Patch adoption papers, all of their birthdays are always on the first of the month. It's always like October 1st, June 1st, July 1st.
Yeah.
It's always on the first of the month. And I want to find out, I want to do a little bit more deep dive on this. And I actually asked a nurse at Babyland General, and she did not know of this. But I had heard that when they were naming the dolls, that they would like go to cemeteries and like make a book of all these like old-fashioned names, and they would name the dolls after dead people.
I bet they did, but then they also, you know, some of them had like the popular names of, you know, that time too. So it was like a mix.
They all seemed like old-fashioned names, though. Don't you remember? Like,
yeah, but there's some that are like, you know, Justin and.
But I think those were the newer ones.
Oh, maybe it was.
Because I have a stack here of adoption papers. We need to at one point. I need to have another naming ceremony. But so like Ramsey Abe.
Yeah.
And Brent Clarence. Didn't you always, when you would find them in the store, I always would look at the names.
Yeah, I did.
This was after the craze. I mean, even like when my kids were little and I bought a Cabbage Patch for Emma, I always looked for like Bertram Jed.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Sandra Kristen. Benny Dalton. They're just fun. Annie. I've never seen Annie spelled that way.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be in charge of Lenore Nelly. Like, wouldn't that be fun to be the person that gets to name all their names? Do you guys remember these? Whenever you would get anything, these would come into your package. Now's your chance to be among the first members of a special club, the official member of the Cabbage Patch Kids Parents Association. So Xavier Roberts was just getting money out of these parents left and right. And what would this get you? You could get the newsletter and be entered into sweepstakes and all kinds of stuff like that. For 1 year, you could be you had to pay $6. 2 years, $11. 3 years, $15. But you would get a newsletter. I want to say that I might have been a member.
Really?
Yeah, like back in the day. Look, Janie Emmeline. See, there's like just these old names. Ruby Arlene. I was looking for the other little booklet because one of the things that you did. This is Lynn Nita. October 1st. So you would always get your birth certificates with the little footprints, and then you would send off this bottom portion. You would send it in the mail to Babyland General Hospital, and they would fill all this out for you. And then you would get like an official adoption paper.
And you could change their name if you wanted to, right? And then they would one.
Yep, you could. But look, I like how they put the thumbprints on there. Like those thumbprints, that is not a baby thumbprint. That's probably Xavier's thumbprint. I didn't look this up offhand, but there is another way if you find one at a thrift store or a garage sale, and you're like, and it doesn't have any clothes on, you could probably Google this. I didn't. But the color of the ink that's used on the signature on the butt will let you know what years they were made. Like some of them will have, I think, gosh, I'm going to say this wrong. I want to say that originally they were black. It was a black. Well, originally they were all hand signed. The little people ones were hand signed. And then the other ones, they'll have, this one's blue and this one's 85. So I'm going to show you her butt real close up, guys. But you see, this one's blue, and the majority of the time they will have a date underneath there. I want to compare.
Yeah, the original, the 1983, it was like a black signature and it did not have the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually you'll see the year on the back of the head too. But if you find one that doesn't have any clothes on, obviously they're going to be worth more money if you find one that has all their original clothes. Girl, your elastic is shot out of your pants. Bad. But they're still valuable. The even if they don't have any clothes, getting clothes for them is also hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, since I have a lot of them, I'm trying to only buy them now if I can find them in their original clothes. I mean, unless we found which ones? We found some at the bins. Oh, what did I do with them? Oh, we found him at the bins.
Aw.
I know. And now he has all this. Now, Barb, can you recommend a way just by soaking this? Do you think that would get this?
Well, I've had good luck with, I would say, probably 85% of the things I've tried to get off, but there have been a couple that, are not really doing it. But, the good thing is, like, compared to a toy like, from the 50s or 60s, these, it's easier to wash and you're not usually worried about like ruining it.
Right.
So just spray it with stain stuff and soak it overnight, maybe.
Yeah. I think having like a little wash basin and then putting some, what I'm probably going to do is, obviously I'm going to take all those clothes off and just kind of just soak them in OxyClean. I'll spray them and soak them and stuff. This little guy is from, gosh. Now they will all say 1978 too. So just know that if you see one and you're looking at the back of their head that says I got one from 1978. You did not get one of these from 1978. Because the ones with the hard heads like this were from 1983. This one's, I think, 1983. Hang on.
Do they say the year on the back of the head that's like the actual year?
I don't know.
Or is it just like a copyright? I was always thinking that you had to look at that, the signature on the butt, like for the color or the year.
No, you're right, because it doesn't, it just says copyright 1978, which is when he copyrighted the name of Appalachian. It's Original Appalachian Works Incorporated, manufactured by Coleco. Now he says made in Hong Kong, but that's normal.
Well, so some of the earlier ones will say Hong Kong, and something that I don't exactly know the whole story on is sometimes I think I've seen collectors referring to something called like a triple Hong Kong. So if it says Hong Kong on maybe the body tag and the head and the something, some collectors like that better. I don't know, but yeah.
You know how we collectors are. We are kind of weird. On the butt, it's blue and it says 85. So I want to say that the ones that I remember the most as a child growing up were, let me check Marshall Gilbert's, were in green. No, he's black. He's in black. And he doesn't have a date, so he must be from 1983.
Yeah, I think
which would make sense.
I feel like green was maybe 86 or something like that. I could be wrong.
See, I've got there's this guy too, and he's got freckles, but his coloring just does not look.
Yeah, he's
85.
Okay, so in 1985, I remember seeing that. I think his head mold, we didn't talk about the different ones, but his head mold is called number 1. And in 1985, they made freckled of the number 1 head mold. But then in 1983, that first year, they put freckles on the number 2 head mold. So that's confusing. I think I have.
But if you see the coloring, he looks green.
I know the coloring is different sometimes. So this is a head mold number 2, and she also has freckles.
I have her very much.
Do you have a twin?
She's very, very similar. I also have well, I don't know, but he has his clothes and stuff on, so he's cute, but he's just like, he had me wondering. See, he is these are all the ones that I have that need cleaned. She's also 1985, but it does make you want to, and I haven't done this. I haven't gone through and looked at the back of the heads on all of mine. I need to redo this over here, so I got Cabbage Patches that are flying all over the place.
I know.
Now, this is the one, my Josie Joanna had this outfit on. But she had the braids like this, but she had like a darker complexion. Yeah, she's from 85 too.
Helen, I think that they in general had white shoes until a certain point. So I was actually holding this girl. When we talked about for a second that Hasbro, that Coleco went out of business and then Hasbro took over. So this girl is from around that time. I think it was like 1988 or 1989. So she has a real, 80s outfit on, and she has like these pink shoes. But with the earlier ones, with the white shoes, there are some that have like little stripes on the side, and that was, normal. But in general, they're mostly white the first few years.
So let me see if I can, Cabbage Patch Kids color signatures.
Yeah, I think there's a few different, websites that show you like a picture of the colors and say what year if you Google it.
Yeah, this one says 1983 was black, 84 was green, 85 was blue, 86 and 87 red and mint.
Oh.
88 was violet, 89 was coral, And then they do have some pictures with the different, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's let me see if I can put this in. I'm going to put this in the chat if it'll allow me. This is a link, Heidi, that I found that it has these it has really, really, really good pictures. And then it says Hasbro and Mattel. Wow, Mattel really changed the signatures.
Yeah, those are weird.
Toys R Us, Play Along.
Here's an example of, well, these might actually have been taken off of a anniversary doll, but they're very similar. These shoes with the stripes came on some of the dolls in the early, production years. Now, the different hair types we didn't really talk about. We can say stuff, for another time, but these are like yours, like Marshall, this is a fuzzy hair.
I love fuzzy.
Those are desirable in general. I mean, especially this red. I guess they just didn't make as much, but they seem to go for more the red hair.
Yeah, so I like him, and he's got those bright blue eyes. I've got an example of the corn silk kids too, which is interesting. It's kind of fun though, but like these aren't the corn silk. I do have corn silk. She's corn silk, where it's got like actual hair.
Yeah.
Rachel brought her to me and I cleaned her up. Rachel found her from the bins in, I don't remember where you were at, Rachel. Might have been in Georgia. No, I don't know where, but I cleaned her up because I just thought she was so cute.
She is. And there are, I don't know as much about those newer ones, but I know there are collectors for all different,
There are. And she's from 2015. So what does your signature look like? She got on underpants. See, now she's a newer one, so there's no date. But they do have the date on the back of the head. So that's the kind of the trade-off with the newer ones. And she's, I guess, a toddler doll because she's got underpants on. Gosh, I can't remember what this hair is called.
I don't know.
Styling, I don't remember. It's kind of fun though to play with because no matter what you do, it's like it's wired.
That is fun.
So yeah, and I got her from the bins too, or from Goodwill or something. She's got pink. See, that's that crazy signature too.
Yeah.
So
here's the different. This is a different. So this is interesting.
Hasbro.
That I didn't understand this at first, but so there's a fuzzy hair and a shag hair. So fuzzy is really like fluffy. Think of it that way. This is called shag. So it's very similar, but it's almost like if you could like
it through all the way.
Yeah, if you could like cut, or maybe they just cut the loops, because most of them had the loops, and then they just kind of So there is, I don't know, differences and that kind of stuff, but
it's kind of nice though too when you're collecting these. You can be like, okay, I want to get a doll. Like I don't need to have 50 of them, but I want to get one from each year, and I want to get one with each different like hair, so like different variants that you'll want to get. With me, obviously, if I see them at a thrift store or at the bins or at a garage sale or whatever, and they're, cheap, I'm going to buy them. That's why I have so many of them right here that need some TLC. But like you find random ones. I found her at the bins too. I just threw her in the washing machine.
Yeah, I know a YouTuber that I watch sometimes. She just puts them in a pillowcase and puts them in the wash. Yeah,
that's what I did with her. I need to get that. They didn't get that red off of her face, so this was like for a little baby to play with. So you can see she's from the 90s. You can see she's got her CPK. You'll see that a lot with the dolls from the 90s. They did this whole CPK like abbreviation, but she's got a little bell in her. So, and I get these newer ones too, because when I've got my grandkids over here, well, I'll aim this. This bucket is filled with the little critters. Like there's a koala, and I find these at Goodwill all the time for like 99 cents, $1. And these you can just throw in the washing machine too. I put them in a pillowcase and throw them in the washing machine. So I've got a ton of them, but I have 2 of these giraffes. So I'm going to do some giveaways. I got a couple things to give away. I do have a couple things to give away. One of the things I'm going to send, or I'm going to give to Barb. And I got these from Babyland General when I went. So Barb, I'm going to send you a Babyland General ornament.
Aw.
I got mine on today. Yes, sir. These are for children.
That's okay. We're like children.
And I'm going to send you a Babyland General bracelet.
Oh, thank you. You don't have to send it though. We can exchange stuff.
Yeah, I'll save it for you. And I have 2 more of those that I'm going to do as a giveaway. But I'm also going to give away one of these giraffes because I don't need 2 of them. But yeah, these critters, I don't need 2 giraffes. I'm going to show you this one too. Oh, see, they're falling around everywhere. Okay. So maybe when we do this next time, because we want to, let me know, is this something that you guys would want us to do, like a Cabbage Patch chat once a month? Maybe we can do something like this once a month. Maybe next week we can talk about the critters.
Yeah. Like
the fur skins. Horrible name.
I don't have one. Do you have one?
I think I have one coming. I did have some. I have, I'll show you. I do have a couple of the smaller ones, and I have some figurines.
And there's other critters too, like
the Bumpy.
I don't know how much later they were, but the pets, I think they were. There was like puppies and kittens. I haven't found one of those yet.
The Koosas. And there's
right, yeah.
And there's horses. So we can dive into that. There's just so many of them. Carolyn found her for me at the bins. She's a bath one. She needs clean. They all need clean. They all need a bath. You can, if you've got an original, if you have an original Cabbage Patch, you can, and it needs repair, you can send them to Babyland General. If you go to their website, they can repair them or clean them for a fee. They're not going to do it for free. But if I do highly recommend going to Babyland General. When I went, I remember after I left, I felt very sad.
Oh,
because it was just like I was the only person there. I was the only person there. And these ladies are all dressed up as nurses, and maybe I just went on a slow day.
Yeah, but hopefully.
I stayed there for a long time, and I kept asking her, is Mother Tree going to give birth soon? Because they do this whole production. I wanted to see Mother Tree give birth.
Yeah.
And she was like, sometimes she's ready. I don't know. You can go on YouTube. Well, you can watch my video of it, but you can go on YouTube and watch Mother Tree giving birth. It's a show. It's a show. And then you go to the nursery and you see, and they weigh the baby and you name the baby. It's a whole thing, but I do recommend going if you are able. So yeah, I mean, we'll do this again. Barb and I are gonna, I want Barb and I to have a duo sale together over on Virtual Antique Marketplace. There is gonna come a time where I am going to be selling some of my dolls. I'm not ready to do that yet.
Yeah, I was telling them, there's some that it's like, I kind of bought it at, a yard sale or a thrift store, just maybe for the outfit, but the doll was not, and so I feel like you can kind of lot some of those together if they're not real and they don't have clothes, and then you're not, because you don't want to just get rid of them. So
Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, and I don't know. Like we were pulling Cabbage Patch clothes out of the bins. Barb, you need to come down and go to the bins with
I
us.
know I want to eventually for sure.
You need to come down. I also have this porcelain one. Have you seen these?
Oh, I have seen those, and I was bidding on one time, but I didn't get it. But they're kind of cute. I'd like to have one in the collection.
Yeah, his hat is down there somewhere. They do come with a certificate of authenticity, and they are all numbered. Like this is number 471. The back of his head is. They're made by Applause. But yeah, actually, Star City Thrift Guys gave him to me, and there's his little shoes. So he looks like, to me, well, I don't know. I don't think that I would have like bought him originally, but I mean, it's a good thing to have in your collection. And there's also the Koosas as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about the buddies and maybe some of the other franchises with Cabbage Patch. But I am going to do these giveaways, and how this is going to work is crap. How this is going to work is I need to get a piece of paper. Hang on, let me get a piece of paper. Barb, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I mean, you missed some of it, but I think that I had some notes, and I was going to maybe go over some of the different head mold things, but I think we'll save that because it's, good to save some things. And yeah, I think we got a good idea of, at least how you can identify them if you're out looking for them. There's some different with the tag and the head mold, the head stamp.
Yeah, and we want to know. I mean, you can even comment on this video. Let us know in the comments, like when you have found one, or if you're a member of virtualantiquemarketplace.com, you can share a picture of you and your Cabbage Patch in the chat rooms so we can see your collections too. So I want to see these things. It's fun for us to I don't know. We love this stuff, so it's fun when we see other people that are kind of interested in it too. And I'm telling you what, these are getting the price of these are going up.
It is.
They're going up and up and up. And I think it's because people that are our age are now buying things that they had when they were a child. And I think that that's what's happening now. It's just like I remember back in the 80s, 1980s, my parents were antique dealers, and like people were buying like Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers and all that, because at that time, the people that grew up in that era, they were buying the toys that they had when they were a childhood. And now nobody wants Roy Rogers or Hopalong Cassidy, because most people don't even know who the hell they are. So now we're at the point where people are buying things that they had in their childhood. All right, so I'm going to do 3 giveaways. And what you will have to do is, I'm going to save this other one for our next chat. I'm going to give away a bracelet and an ornament, and then I'm going to give away one of my little pets. Now, here's the parameters. You have to be in the U.S. I'm sorry, but you have to be in the U.S. because I will pay to ship this to you. And you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will, I do giveaways, like a couple giveaways every sale I have on Virtual Antique Marketplace. So if you've missed seeing me on YouTube, I really wish you'd just come over to Virtual Antique Marketplace. We got a lot of fun over there right now. There's live sale going on right there right now. I sent you a picture of my girls with their dolls. Yes, please send me these pictures because we want to see them. All right, so the first giveaway is you're going to get a bracelet, and these both came from Babyland General when I went on a visit. So all you're going to have to do, the first winner of the bracelet, I'm going to write this down, is put in the first person to put in the letter C will win. I will just need your contact information if I don't already have it. The first person I see is Nettie. Is that what you see? It's been a long time.
I see Maryland, but you know how it's different on different.
Well, hang on. Oh, well, what? So, Karen, if you're still here, let me know, Karen. What do you, I cannot find my hole, Karen. Karen's like, Misty, you got to find your hole. My hole's right there. Camera hole. Okay, Maryland. Sorry, Nettie. Marilyn Hyatt. Is that who it was?
I think so. Yeah. HIATT.
Yeah. So Marilyn, send me. I'm pretty sure that I have your address, but send it to me again just to make it easier on me. thrifterjunkervintagehunter@gmail.com. So, you know what? I'm gonna get Nettie. I'm gonna send this to you. We'll make it easy since I announced your name, Nettie. You're gonna get the critter. Marilyn, Marilyn, I have your information. See, Marilyn, you're a different name here than you are over on Vamp. And Nettie, I have your information.
Maybe
maybe
next time we come back, we'll, find one or two to sell or something too. Some of the ones that
we could do that. Would you guys like that?
I mean, we're not going to go crazy here, but like one or something or whatever.
Yeah. Like maybe we'll both bring one to sell. And I'll probably do another. Well, I am definitely going to do another giveaway of this. But yeah, I mean, this is just fun. It's very nostalgic. And I've got things that I really don't. Oh, wait. Well, we'll talk about this next time. But we'll start our next chat with a Cabbage Patch doll that was banned. She was banned. I have her.
So everybody, you'll have to tune in next episode to find out who it is. Which one?
She was outlawed. She was thrown off the shelf. There was lawsuits. I have her in her box.
I don't have one, but I'm on the lookout.
Nettie, this is Nettie's first Cabbage Patch. Well, Nettie, I'm going to give you that one's a little dirtier. I'll keep the dirtier one. I'll give you the one that's not so scuffed on its face. So cute. Well, Nettie, I'm going to send those to you. So I'm so glad that I could give you your first Cabbage Patch.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. No, I've already taken her out of the box because I had to see how she worked. But we'll lead with that our next chat. Thank you, guys. This was fun. Thank you, Barb. So I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. I really hope that I don't have to go buy a new laptop.
Well, I mean, at the worst, if something happens next time, we'll just do the iPad again. It seems to be working fine. But.
Yeah. It won't take so long. So sorry, Barb, that I left you hanging.
Oh, it's
well, Ronnie, maybe not. We're just gonna have to find out. All right. Thanks again so much, guys. And if you're watching this later on, make sure that you're subscribed because we will do another chat next month. And don't know when that's going to be yet. Barb and I will talk about it to get a date that works for both of us. But I hope that you will also come over to virtualantiquemarketplace.com. It's an online antique mall. We would love to have you over there as well. There are Cabbage Patch dolls available to purchase right now over on virtualantiquemarketplace.com. Somebody please buy them so I do not.
I know. I've almost bought some too.
I'm just like, no, you are limiting yourself. Marilyn said you can hold mine until your next sale to save post. Well, I gotta leave here and do some shipping, Marilyn. I haven't done my shipping. I've been a bad girl. I have. But thanks again so much, guys. We really do appreciate you being here, and we can't wait to hang out with you again during the next one.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. All right, bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.